Hey, what's up, guys? Dan here from nexttoronto.com. Today I'm going to be providing some insight into a very commonly asked question, which is how much does a website cost? I get asked that question pretty often, and so do other web developers, I'm sure. In fact, if I had a dollar every time I heard that question, I'd probably be like, I don't know, like 236 bucks richer. I don't get asked that question that often, but I mean, often enough that it warranted its own video. Now, unfortunately, I'm not going to provide a concrete answer because if you have access to the internet, you can probably see that there's a difference between your accountant's five-page website and Facebook. So, there really isn't an answer. It's almost like asking how much is a car? Well, a car can range from a compact to a sports car. They can have different features. It's like asking how much is a house. A house could be a bungalow, it could be a mansion, it could have different features, property size, location. I mean, all these different factors influence cost, and the same thing goes for a website. The costs or the scope of the projects actually derive from several different factors, such as the planning, the communication, the design, what sort of functionality is required, how complex is the design, how much content are we adding to the website, and not to mention value. When I say value, I don't mean the value of the end result, but what I mean is the value of the person that you're hiring, because there is a huge drop off between hiring, you know, Dan 15 years of web development, SEO, and internet marketing experience versus Dan straight out of college. I actually had a client once say to me, I could have just did this myself using Wix, drag and drop. And there's a huge difference between, hiring a web developer who's going to build your website using a tool like WordPress versus Wix, where you're very limited with what you can do with the look of your website and, any sort of advanced functionality. So let's dig a little bit deeper into each of the factors that can actually influence the cost of a website. Number one is planning and communication. Now, this can actually make up the bulk of a project because it involves a lot of back and forth via email, phone call, in-person meetings with the client. This is where we develop the marketing strategy, assess the client's needs, look at their current website, look at the competition to see, is there anything we can steal from them? What can we do different? What can we do better? Because we want your website to stand out from the competition. We want it to serve a purpose in that it generates more sales and more leads, and we want you to be happy with your website. Number two is the design, and this just isn't the creative aspect. Yes, it is important to have an aesthetically pleasing website, but we also consider the layout and the user experience. And this is extremely important because this is how a visitor responds to your website. Because we want them to call your phone number, fill out that contact form, or purchase a product on your website. In this phase, we might even be looking for the right image to be used in your hero banner at the top of your website. And sometimes finding the right image could take over hours. And we work mainly with WordPress, and WordPress has thousands of different themes, and each theme is like learning a different software. They have different interfaces, they have different functionality and features and benefits and caveats. And I haven't launched a WordPress website to date where I haven't added at least 100 lines of CSS or custom code to manipulate the theme to look the way I want it to look in the end. At the end of the day, we want you to stand out from your competition, so we want you to have a beautiful website and one that converts well. Number three is time. This might seem like an obvious factor, but time is money, and the amount of time your developer works on a project, that will impact the overall cost, because most developers have an hourly rate. They're going to multiply that by the amount of estimated hours, and that's how you get your overall cost. Now, occasionally you get clients that are going to try and haggle down the cost of a project, but it's really just doing a disservice to them because they're probably going to be losing out on certain features, as the developer wants to be compensated fairly. But if you're cutting down on cost, then that means corners are going to be cut and you're going to be losing something in the end. It's probably better that you both come to a mutual agreement on what you're going to get and that you're happy with the cost of the project. Number four is value, and this is definitely relative to who you hire to build your website. You know, the value of the website you actually get in the end. Is it a quality website? How does it stack up against your competitors? You know, did you hire somebody that was knowledgeable in web development and SEO and internet marketing, such as myself? And I'm not trying to make this a sales pitch for myself, but if you're going to hire somebody to develop your online presence, you want to make sure that, you know, they're a seasoned web developer and they understand SEO, which is usually a technical shortfall I find with most web developers. Yeah, sure, they might be able to build you a decent website, but is it going to rank well? Is it actually going to generate sales and leads for your business? Because if you hire the wrong person and your competitors chose to hire the right person, well, as I mentioned before, they're the ones that are going to be getting all the benefit in the end. And not to mention, you're just going to end up paying for that website to be revamped in the near future anyways, because it's not functioning properly. It's not doing what it was intended to do. So that's it for today, guys. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below. If you're looking to hire a web developer, you know, you can reach me through my website at www.nextoronto.com and follow me on Twitter at NextToronto. Take care, guys. Bye.